Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new video that I'm going to be doing. Recently, I went and watched Bullet Train. I was out of the state for a bit, visiting family, just whatnot. And we went and saw a movie, and that movie happened to be Bullet Train. It was a great movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked a lot of the characters. The plot was pretty good. The setting was great, a lot of good action, a lot of good laughs, a lot of good emotional moments that really pull at you. You know, all around a good time to kill for two or so hours. And as I was watching this movie, I started to realize something with one of those characters that was in the movie, the antagonist, actually, the White Death. Now, the White Death had a few similarities to another particular character that I'm fond of, the character of Black Mask from, DC Comics. Now, I started to think on this one a little bit more, realize of all the similarities, and I started to find this one very heartbreaking truth that Bullet Train did a better Black Mask than the actual movie that had Black Mask. So, in this video, I'm going to go by with some good scene comparisons. I'm going to elaborate on what worked, what didn't, and what lessons can be learned if you want to have a entertaining, comic-accurate, imposing Black Mask in any future live-action endeavors. Now, let us start with Roman Siona's The Black Mask. Now, the movie that we're going to be taking a look at is Birds of Prey. Now, obviously the first scene in any character introduction is important. It sets up everything you need to know, especially when you're introducing an antagonist. And both the White Death and Black Mask are the antagonists of their respective movies. So introducing them is very important. The first scene is very important. So the first scene we get with Roman is him entering a warehouse where he currently has 3 people strung up. A man with his wife and child, he has his right-hand man Zsasz there, ready to torture them and all that. We have it's a bit stereotypical bad guy torture thing. Nothing wrong with that, it could be done perfectly fine. We have Roman bring up the reasoning for why they're all strung up like that, gets the whole spiel about everything, and then he has Zsasz peel off the man and his wife's face, just clean off in a pretty brutal fashion, and then finally it ends with him looking to the small child that's there, and he's contemplating, whether or not to just take her out as well. But then he sees a snot bubble on her, which sure, it's a little gross, and he goes, ew. He's like, I changed my mind, peel her face off, and then he leaves, taking off his gloves almost as he's sickened by that. And then that's our introduction to the Black Mask. Now let's start off with some of the positives that could be gained from this, right? Now we have established this is a character that doesn't mind letting people get hurt or ordering people to be hurt in various ways, right? He comes in with this nice, cool suit that you only get in that scene, You have a very talented actor playing this character, and that's kind of about it. For the negatives, well, the brutal act of face peeling is one thing, right? But the problem is it's done by a different character. Now, sure, you could say, oh, that's just to set up how bad Victor Zsasz is as well, and sure. The problem is we're not talking about Victor Zsasz. We're talking about the Black Mask. We're talking about Roman. Roman is notoriously known in the comics to be a guy that really likes torturing people. He's a bit of a sadist like that. He was He's famous for killing Stephanie Brown by torturing her with various power tools. And then he kidnapped a woman and her husband, and literally fed this woman, her husband, bit by bit with a spoon. Spoon fed her. He made her cannibalize her husband. All of that just because they were friends to Catwoman. He did all of that just to get to Catwoman. You know, it's like, this is a character that's notoriously known for getting his hands dirty and isn't afraid of the blood and all the crazy shit that's gonna happen with it. You know, we have that potential, but it's not there. Instead, we have a Black Mask that while he is, of course, able to order bad things to happen, he's not doing it himself, and he almost seems like a bit of a germophobic. And it's just so like, why? Like, Black Mask would be grabbing that knife and doing the job himself, or he'd be doing something more fucked up. You know, so when you see this...
Is that a snot bubble? Ew, gross. Oh, I've changed my mind. Peel it off.
It's not really looking too good for the Black Mask. Now, let's focus on the character that he can learn from, the White Death. Now, to set this start off, we get a first introduction to this character when two of the characters of the movie, Lemon and Tangerine, contractors that do like killings and whatnot, are currently on the titled Bullet Train. They are discussing how they just fucked up a job that they're doing currently for the White Death, and they have to explain to each other the gravity of the situation that they are in, and they explain, you know, the backstory of the White Death, more or less. And we get this whole narration and like summary of what this guy is and what is he capable of.
The Japanese underworld used to be ruled by a man named Minagishi. Now, Minagishi was one brutal bastard. But he was old school, you know. Tradition and loyalty was all that mattered to him. When you were in, you were in. You were like family. He treated you like you were one of his own. Then out of the blue comes this 6'6" fucking geezer from Russia. Whispers that he was exiled from the Russian mafia, that he was ex-KGB. No one really knows the truth. But what is known is this Russian worked his way up the ranks, bit by bit, kill by kill. And very, very fucking quickly became one of Minagishi's closest advisors. And those loyal to him said, "Hold your horses. This geezer ain't a full ticket. He ain't to be trusted. He's dangerous," they said. A modern plague, they said. A White Death. So sure enough, they were right. He made his own alliance. His own gang. And what'd he do? Stabbed him in the back. I mean, metaphorically, he blew his fucking brains out, didn't he? He wiped the name Minagishi off the face of the earth in one single night. Made an empire worthy of the White Death.
We are shown that the White Death is a Russian who was either Russian mafia or former KGB. He was something. He comes out of nowhere. He goes to Japan. He goes to one of the biggest crime Yakuza family in the country, you know, and because the Yakuza family was old school, obviously, you know, like, earn your way in, you'd be treated like family. So he wins in there, and we have the scene of him beating the ever-loving piss out of all of these different members of the said clan, you know, working his way up, with narration describing how the White Death has worked his way up the ranks, you know, getting his hands dirty, doing it all in the name of the clan and becoming, you know, the best, closest advisor to him. And despite everybody telling the head of the clan, dude, do not let this guy in. This guy's fucking nuts. He's crazy. You know, he won't listen, and this becomes a problem because later on we see like the Yakuza clan getting cut down by everything, you know, because the White Death is coming in, cleaning house because he's made his own alliances, he's got his own gang, and he's taking over. And we see him walk through as just people are just dying left and right, brutal fashion, you know. And the White Death's walking in. He's got this red Oni demon mask, you know, and he's got like long hair, which like really puts it all in there. His hands are all bloodied up, you know, and he whips out a 6-shooter and he starts rolling the barrel across his arm, playing a game of Russian roulette. Points it at himself, click, does the whole arm movement again, points it at the Yakuza clan head, boom, done. Now, what do we learn from that particular scene? We have showcased that the White Death is a man that will get his hands dirty, that will do what it takes to get what he wants. We have showcased that he's crazy and unhinged just by the mere fact he did the whole Russian roulette thing. Okay? We've showcased that he's a man that will take what he wants, and he's not afraid to put a bullet in the gun and play that little fucked up game of Russian roulette with himself and the targets that he takes out. And then he, you know, as this goes on, we've established him as a credible threat and how he's become, you know, the head of the biggest crime organization in the world as a result of these actions. We have showcased that he's willing to do all this, you know. Now, what can Roman learn from this? Roman can learn that you need to have a character that is not afraid to get their hands dirty, that is not afraid to do horrendous things to other characters or other people in order to get what they want. When you especially want to establish a very disturbing villain, you know, you can have villains that don't quite get their hands dirty or they operate from the shadows or whatnot. But for something like this, for a crime lord figure that's going to do gruesome things, you need that person to be able to do gruesome things, not just simply like, oh, I'm just going to kill off my own henchman type thing, because that doesn't happen here. We get a demonstration of power. We get a demonstration of what this character is. And while with Roman, we don't get that. We get, like, the illusion of it, right? And what are the main motivators for these two characters? Why are they doing what they're doing? Funnily enough, they both have a slightly similar goal in why they're doing what they're doing. Why are they building up their various crime empires? Albeit the main motivator is always different to it. With Roman Sionis, he wants to build something of his own because he was kicked out of his family's corporation, Janus Corp, by his father, and he just wants to build something of his own and have it there and whatnot. So, you know, he wants to build up his own, his criminal empire because of that. With the White Death, he wants to do it because he wants to control everything, you know, and one of the only things he can't quite control is fate, or at least that's what he's been trying to control, you know. And they're similar in veins of how they want to build something and control it all. It's like, this is what I want, and I will take it. Nothing can stop me. Nothing will stop me. You know, I will grab it by the throat and take it. But when the White Death, it kind of in this fits in with the theme of fate and how that can affect things, and how everything how there's a purpose and a reason for everything, and maybe you don't have control of it, but it's fine if you don't, type thing, versus I have daddy issues. And it's like not quite the best, especially if you want to make your villain be an intimidating force behind it all. Another thing both movies share is that the main antagonists of the movies generally share a connection with most of the other characters in one sense or another. With Bullet Train, the White Death is associated with a number of characters because most of the characters are either assassins or criminals that have at least crossed paths with the White Death in some shape or form. You know, they have some connection to him. In Birds of Prey, Roman Sionis is connected to various people through various ways. He's connected to Harley Quinn because she would come into his club and whatnot to have fun, and is also hired to go after Cassandra Cain. Cassandra Cain, who happens to take a diamond that he's trying to locate. You have Helena Bertinelli, the Huntress, who's got grief with Sionis because he ordered the murder of her family. You have the Black Canary, who works for Roman as like one of his drivers, you know. So you have these characters with a general like your connection to these two people, right? Now how does it handle itself when it starts to, you know, display all this shit? The big difference is the execution of interactions with these characters. You know, we have demonstrated with the White Death that he's a man that's not afraid to get his hands dirty, and we even have in certain scenes of Bullet Train, they discuss like stuff that he's done, where they describe a scene where a woman who owed money to the White Death finally got enough to pay him back, but she was only 5 minutes late, and thus the White Death would chop off her hands as a result. 1 finger for every minute late. You know, we have a nice quick scene where it's like he's done that.
There you go. There's this story, stop me if you've heard it, where this woman found herself in the unfortunate position of owing your father a tidy sum of money. Now, the issue was, it took her some time to acquire this money. But she did pay it back 5 minutes late, didn't she?
Yeah, what'd you do?
Cut the arm off.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So she owed him a finger for every minute. Anyway, he's not a monster. He didn't make it sit through it 5 times. He just cut once, didn't he?
We even have another bit where a character who's trying to kill the White Death explains how she's not the first person to attempt an assassination on him. And typically, a lot of people that have tried to kill him would end up being killed by the weapon that they were attempting to use on him.
Did you know that there have been 31 attempts on the White Death's life from within his own organisation? Each one he executed with their own weapon. Do you see what I'm getting at here? Kimura, I brought you here to fail.
You know, we showcase that he didn't just get there just because of pure luck or anything. And it's not like everything's hunky-dory. Like, he is not infallible or untouchable, but it's very difficult to get to him. While Roman, his position is not exactly... They want to treat him as if he's the ultimate big bad, but there are problems with that. You see, he doesn't try to kill Harley at first due to the fact that Harley Quinn has a protection on her because of her relationship with the Joker. A relationship that, for the beginning of that movie, everyone still believes is intact, but in reality, Harley's since broken up with the Joker. And everyone doesn't mess with her because they're afraid of the Joker having retribution upon them. And it's only until Harley Quinn reveals this whole thing that everyone starts to kill her. And it's kind of difficult to... And it doesn't make Roman be any... makes him feel like he's not exactly the top dog. And sure, maybe you can have characters that aren't quite at the top of the food chain, but when you're trying to make this character be like the biggest bad of the whole place, you're kind of ruining it when you're putting this like limitation on him, like, okay, well, if he's so bad, why couldn't he get, Harley killed? But it's like he can't because you have the Joker who's, not there. So you have another character. So you have this character that can't quite showcase the full extent of his power because you've just demonstrated there's another character that's kind of preventing him from doing that until we remove that little feature. Now, another particular scene that I want to talk about is when Roman, like, finally captures Harley and he's going to, like, you know, about to, like, rip her apart and everything, you know, but the thing is, he's not going to do any of the actions. He goes and sits down in his chair eating some popcorn while Zsasz is about to get the knife out and go to Harley, and Harley is terrified of Zsasz. She's not terrified of Roman.
Alright.
I want to kill you. Shit. Because without the Joker around, I can. For all your noise and bluster, you're just a silly little girl with no one around to protect her.
Whoa, wait!
What?
Don't kill me.
Ha, right.
No, seriously. Romy. Come on, there's gonna be something we can figure out. Hey!
Fuck all of it!
See, that is a problem. She's not terrified of him. She's terrified of his second in command. This is a problem. When you want your villain to be terrifying, you have to showcase it through how other characters perceive him. Harley isn't terrified of Roman, she's terrified of Zsasz. Something's wrong here. Why is that? It's because Roman isn't the one doing the actual job, right? He's just sitting there watching while Zsasz is going to do all the work. Roman in the comics would already have a set of tools out, he'd have everything ready, he'd even have the stereotypical, like, opera music playing or something while he went to work. Okay? He'd be rolling up the sleeves, getting everything ready, he'd be like, oh yeah, let's party! And then just go to town. That's what he would be doing. The most he does is give Harley a backhand across the face, you know, and we don't even have Harley demonstrate any concern or fear for him, just some stupid jokes about reasons that Roman would want Harley dead.
When it comes to me and Roman Sionis, there are a lot of possible answers to this question. Breaking his driver's legs. There's that time I called it having a vagina in the first place. Versus this burning because I called it his life hard. I called him Romeo and Jack. Stuck in a house. Keith Richards' boyfriend.
Close your mouth.
Meanwhile, in the bullet train, with two of the characters, Lemon and Tangerine, the twin contractors who are working for the White Death, when they realize, oh, we just fucked up the job, you know, and how occasionally throughout the movie, the White Death will be having them be called to give, like, updates, you know, and showcasing, like, hey, what's going on with the job? You know, is everything going well? Is everything going well? Is everything going well? It's showcasing this, like, this looming presence. The White Death is permeating through it. His shadows there. His mere name invokes a bit of concern that it's like, okay, we need to, you know, be careful about this. Because if we screw up, or if the White Death finds out that we fucked up on the job, we are gone, we are dead. There's nothing to do about that, so we need to fix the situation that we are in. And even with other characters, like characters who are going to try to, like, attack the White Death, they are working and trying to plan it in a way that will work, even with how impossible it seems to get to the White Death. You know, they are they make it seem important that this character is a very tough and scary individual, and that going up against him is not something you do lightly. You don't think of this character lightly. Everyone, you know, has a view of this character, and they're like, okay, we don't want to. It's like, if you're gonna do this, you gotta face him properly. You know, he's not someone you take like with jokes. He's someone serious. And finally, more importantly, how do you defeat a foe as this, right? So with Black Mask, we have a final confrontation where after the aforementioned Birds of Prey finally take out most, if not all, of Roman's forces, and he's on the run with Cassandra Cain in tow. Harley goes on pursuit. you know, and we have, you know, we have a, not really a fight, it's more of a chase going on, and then, you know, and then results in him dying, right? Which is stupid, by the way. I think he should live so he could be a reoccurring foe, but whatever. I guess we're just gonna kill him off like that. But yeah, he dies by simply a grenade being put into his pocket and Harley kicking him off of a roof, off of a dock, and then he explodes. It's just so disappointing in terms of execution, because it's just like, oh, that's simple, huh? Damn, he's not really that intimidating as a foe or a threat. Nope, not at all. Meanwhile, with the White Death, we have an extended fight scene between him and one of the other characters who, spoilers, happened to be one of the advisors to the Yakuza clan that the White Death took out. And the thing is, the White Death didn't just wipe out those members of the clan, he went after their families, and thus, this guy's wife was killed in that ensuing incident. So this man has a desire to seek revenge, not only for the members of his clan, but his wife on the White Death, you know. And we have this whole extended fight scene between these two characters who've got a connection, you know. And it's real cool, it's real stylish, I love it, you know. And then even when, and it's like, even with you know, a sword is like dug deep into this guy's shoulder. It's like right near his, it's like right in the middle of his, like, chest, how deep it went in. He's still walking and taking after the train crashes, and he's like, you know, walking and ticking, and then it only, a booby-trapped gun finally puts him out of his misery. It takes all of that to kill him.
Ah, come on. Just let it go, bro. Do not call me bro! Okay.
You've demonstrated a threat, and you've demonstrated what it takes in order to kill him. That you needed to derail an entire bullet train, have a sword cleaved right through him, and a booby-trapped gun just to kill him. All of these things that have to occur in order to get this character to die. Meanwhile, it was a grenade in a pocket and a jump kick for Roman. That's all we're doing? It's pathetic. If you're going to kill off a character that's supposed to be this big ultimate bad that's permeating over through the other characters, you need to showcase it. The defeat of a villain must match their scale, right? Take, for example, the Green Goblin. When the Green Goblin is beaten, he's killed by his own glider, right? It matches the severity of what this guy was doing. When he shows up on the scene, he's terrorizing the city. He's killed dozens of people, you know. He was willing to kill children and Mary Jane, and he lays a whooping on Spider-Man, right? And then he dies by the glider blades going right through him. You know, this hulking machine that just going in at super fast speeds, just boom, impaling him to a wall. You know, going not only through his armor, but the brick wall behind him. Right? You have that incredible, like, moment of like, oh damn, that took a lot to take him out. You know, there. Of course, obviously Spidey beat the shit out of him, and then, you know, Norman would hit himself with a glider. But, you know, that's the same thing. Like with the White Death, not even with a sword cleaved into him, in a train crashing, not even that took him out. It had to be a booby-trapped gun. You know, all of these things together to finally take him out. Meanwhile, with Roman, dropkick, grenade in the pocket, done. What are the lessons that Roman can learn from the White Death? Let's list them off. Number 1, get your hands dirty. If you have a character that is known for doing horrendous, torturous things to other people, have him displayed doing these things. Have him be there when things are going down, when like rival crime people are getting blasted all over the place. Have him be there when he's torturing people. You know, have a scene of him torturing someone in front of a loved one and like demonstrating like, this is what I can do and this is what I like to do on my free time. So know the depths that I will get to just get what I want. You know, like I do this shit for fun. Now imagine what I'm going to do when there's something I want out of this. You know, showcase a character's strength and dominance. Do not give him daddy issues. Do not make him weak and frail and it's squeamish around freaking snot bubbles. Okay, do not just put on superficial, you know, casual sexism crap to make him seem more vile or despicable. You don't do that. You have to you want to make a character bad, make him be a character that's bad because he's done bad things, right? Don't throw superficial titles out there. If you want to demonstrate that this character is powerful, you don't throw handicaps that remove the threat. You don't have other characters that don't take this person seriously at all. Harley Quinn barely takes Black Mask any bit seriously. The only character who even remotely takes him seriously is Black Canary, and that's just because she's working for him and it makes sense. It's like, oh yeah, she's a bit concerned that she doesn't want to, you know, interrupt anything that could like hinder her position or get her killed, you know, because she's just trying to lay low. Like, that kind of works, but why wasn't that for all of the characters? You know, it doesn't make much sense there. Meanwhile, in Bullet Train, everybody knows about the White Death. Everybody knows that you don't fuck with the guy unless things are gonna get down and dirty. You know, all of this works there. Okay, demonstrate through other characters how bad this person is. If you have a character that is losing his shit at the mere thought of them fucking up a job, and the White Death coming back to haunt them with it, or killing them, or going after them, that's good. If you have other characters explain why going after the White Death is an impossible task, it's like a suicide mission, you know, great, that's cool. But when you have Roman Sionis being, supposedly you want him to be one of the biggest crime people in Gotham, but then you have this whole little bit of why couldn't he get to Harley, you have a whole nother guy who's not even in the movie be there as a main motivator for why Roman isn't doing all these things. You're restricting what you're trying to, bring up the illusion of power without showcasing his power. You know, you're overselling it. You're not providing enough. And finally, the defeat of the villain. A villain, it should take a lot to take down a certain character, you know, or at least a character that you build up to be like this. With the White Death, it's like you had to get him onto the train, you had to whittle down his forces, you had to put a sword through him, you had to crash a train, and then finally a booby-trapped gun. All these different pieces coming into play to finally take him out. With the Black Mask, it's like dropkick, grenade. That's it. It's terrible. It's terrible things that just ruin the potential of what you could have with the Black Mask. You know? So if anybody, I repeat, anybody is watching, they should take notes from Bullet Train. Not only is it a movie that I highly recommend you watch, just because it is a good movie, but because a lot of the characters have a lot of good qualities and traits, and the way that they write this is the perfect stuff that you could use to build off of these, like, superheroics and whatnot, especially for antagonists. The White Death performs better as a Black Mask than the actual Black Mask, even when you fulfill various details of their backstory and their motivations and why they do what they do, you know, how they act, you know, all these pieces, all of these bits, right? So in short, if you want to make a Black Mask thing, I recommend you watch Bullet Train. Take some notes, write them down, use them, execute them well, and you have something there. You have something. In short, that's all it's gonna be. I hope you enjoyed that long-ass ramble and essay-ish kind of thing or whatever. If you want more of these things, I might try to do them. I don't know. But I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. If with any recommendations or whatnot, I shall see you then. Goodbye.